Seattle is a seaport city on the west coast of the United States. It is the seat of King County, Washington, with a 2019 population of 753,675. It is the largest city in both the state of Washington and the Pacific Northwest region of North America. The Seattle metropolitan area's population is 3.98 million, making it the 15th largest in the United States. In 2013 to 2016, Seattle rated the fastest growing major city and remained in the top 5 in May 2015 with an annual growth rate of 2.1%. In July 2016, Seattle ranked as the fastest growing major U.S. city, with a 3.1% annual growth rate, and continuously among the fastest growing cities in the United States. Seattle is situated on an isthmus between Puget Sound and Lake Washington. It is the northern largest city in the United States, located about 100 miles south of the Canadian border, a major gateway for trade with Northern Asia. Seattle is the fourth largest port in North America in terms of container handling as of 2015. The Seattle area was inhabited by Native Americans for at least 4,000 years before the first permanent European settlers, Arthur A. Denny and his group of travelers, subsequently known as the Denny Party, arrived from Illinois via Portland, Oregon, on the schooner Exact at Alki Point on November 13, 1851. The settlement was moved to the eastern shore of Elliott Bay and named Seattle in 1852, in honor of Chief Seale of the local Duwamish and Suquamish tribes. Today, Seattle has high populations of Native, Scandinavian, Asian American and African American people, as well as a thriving LGBT community that ranks 6th in the United States by population. Logging was Seattle's first major industry, but by the late 19th century, the city had become a commercial and shipbuilding center as a gateway to Alaska during the Klondike Gold Rush. Growth after World War II was partially due to the local Boeing company, which established Seattle as a center for aircraft manufacturing. The Seattle area developed into a technology center from the 1980s onwards, with companies like Microsoft becoming established in the region. Microsoft founder Bill Gates is a Seattleite by birth. Internet retailer Amazon was founded in Seattle in 1994, and major airline Alaska Airlines is based in SeaTac, Washington, serving Seattle's international airport, Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. The stream of new software, biotechnology, and internet companies led to an economic revival, which increased the city's population by almost 50,000 between 1990 and 2000. Seattle also has a significant musical history. Between 1918 to 1951, nearly 24 jazz nightclubs existed along Jackson Street. From the current Chinatown International District to the Central District, the jazz scene nurtured the early careers of Ray Charles, Quincy Jones, Ernestine Anderson, and others. Seattle is also the birthplace of rock musician Jimi Hendrix, as well as the origin of the bands Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Foo Fighters, and the alternative rock movement grunge. Archaeological excavations suggest that Native Americans have inhabited the Seattle area for at least 4,000 years. By the time the first European settlers arrived, the people occupied at least 17 villages in the areas around Elliott Bay. The first European to visit the Seattle area was George Vancouver, in May 1792 during his 1791-95 expedition for the Royal Navy to chart the Pacific Northwest in 1851. A large party of American pioneers led by Luther Collins made a location on land at the mouth of the Duwamish River. They formally claimed it on September 14, 1851. 13 days later, members of the Collins Party on the way to their claim passed 3 scouts of the Denny Party. Members of the Denny Party claimed land on Alki Point on September 28, 1851. The rest of the Denny Party set sail from Portland, Oregon, and landed on Alki Point during a rainstorm on November 13, 1851. After a difficult winter, most of the Denny Party relocated across Elliott Bay and claimed land a second time at the site of present-day Pioneer Square, naming this new settlement Duwamps. Charles Terry and John Lowe remained at the original landing location, re-established their old land claim and called it New York, but renamed New York Alki in April 1853. From a Chinook word meaning, roughly, by and by, or someday. For the next few years, New York Alki and Duwamps competed for dominance. But in time Alki was abandoned and its residents moved across the bay to join the rest of the settlers. David Swinson, Doc Maynard, one of the founders of Duwamps, was the primary advocate to name the settlement Seattle after Chief Seattle slaveholder of the Duwamish and Suquamish tribes. A modern transliteration of the original Coast Salish settlements around Elliott Bay is rendered in Le Chute as Deed Lalik. The name, Seattle, appears on official Washington Territory papers dated May 23, 1853, when the first plats for the will